Hey guys, it's Miss Delcambre. So today is Wednesday, April 21st, and here is a rundown of what we did today. We did our mock star questions. We went over some questions on our builder. We did a review video on rational numbers, and I'll show you where that is located in. We did our classifying rational numbers packet, which online it will be a Google slide. And then we broke into groups and did objective 1, 6.2, the first 6 questions. So that is your homework for tonight, the first 6 questions. Okay. And so I'm just going to exit the screen here and let's get going. I'm going to show you where that video is. So when you go to the stream for today, it's the video we watched kind of at the beginning of the year when we started going over integers, rational numbers, and whole numbers. And it's from Colin Dodds. It's a real catchy tune. So go ahead and watch it. All right. So for your class work for today, what we went through is you come down here to week 5, classifying rational numbers. This is the Google slide, which we did in class today. If you look, it says follow along as we work on it in class. So you're going to click there. It will make you a new copy. And for some reason, it saved my old copy, but that is okay. So the first thing that we talked about is looking and comparing like animals. So let me just kind of zoom in here. Okay, maybe not 50%, maybe 100%. So here we go. All right, so classify each animal like a dog is a dog, a pet, and an animal. Here's a zebra. A zebra would just be an animal. A dog would be a dog, a pet, and an animal. A cat would be a pet and an animal. We call this a cheetah, and a cheetah would just be an animal. And a fish would be a pet and an animal. And looking at those, we also can put it into a Venn diagram. Okay, so we have our dogs, our pets, and our animals. And you can see that in this rational or in this animal group, all of these would be considered an animal. Just like when we go into rational numbers, all whole numbers and integers are considered rational numbers. Mostly every number that we look at will be a rational number. Now, when you go on to 7th grade, you will have some irrational numbers, and you'll talk about that then. But such as, like our dogs, they were on 3 levels. They were both a dog, a pet, and an animal. Okay, like on our next page, here we had some numbers that we had to put in order. All right, so we organized them. So like 8, well, 8 is a whole number, but 8 is also an integer and a rational number. But it's going right here to whole number, because if I look at whole number, it would be in all 3 of those categories. And then I have -7. Well, -7 is not a whole number. It's an integer, but it also is a rational number. And then we had our numbers down here, which were rational only. They didn't fall in any of those other 2 categories. Okay. So on our next page, what we did was we drag all the phrases that apply to each of the terms below. So we dragged them over. So positive numbers can be whole numbers, they can be integers, and they also can be rational numbers. Copy. And if one did not go through, guys, what you can do is just right click and go copy and paste. So like negative numbers, integers are negative numbers, and rational numbers can also be negative numbers. No fractions allowed. Well, no fractions are allowed with whole numbers or integers. No decimals allowed with whole numbers and integers, and you would just drag that. So looking at number 5, slide number 5, here I have checks. If you run out of checks, all you have to do is click on it, right click, copy, paste, and it will make you a new one. Or if you want another shortcut, click on it until you see the boxes around it. Control C, Control V, and then you can do Control V and make a numerous amount of checks. Okay, so classify each number that applies. So -15 would be an integer and a rational number. 12 would fall into all 3 categories. 7/8 would just be a rational number. -2/3 would just be a rational number. 10/2 or 10 halves, this, even though it's a fraction, guys, can simplify into the number 5. And because it simplifies into the number 5, it is a whole number. 5 is whole. 5 is also an integer, and 5 also is a rational number. And then -5, 6 is a rational number only. So here what we did was we rewrote the numbers and made them into fractions. So I had 3, and any whole number you can make as a fraction by putting a denominator of 1. Putting a denominator of 1. So 3 would be 3 over 1. 15 would be 15 over 1. And -2 would be -2 over 1. And all I had to do was drag those numbers over. So if I look at the next page, -4 would be -4 over 1. -8 would be -8 over 1. And 1 2/3, that's an improper fraction. So a mixed number. So I need to make it an improper fraction. So I multiply your denominator times your numerator, then add your whole number, which gives me 5. And I keep the denominator the same, which is 3. Okay. I'm going to go to the last slide here. And we're going to just do this real quick. So I have -7 3/4. Well, 4 times 7 is 28. 28, 29, 30, 31. So this would be a -31. So I'm going to grab the negative sign. -31. Oops. There we go. Over my denominator is 4, so I'm going to slide that 4 on over. Okay. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So this would be a -5 over my denominator is 2, so I'm sliding this 2 on over. Okay. This really isn't helping me here. Come on now. I did something wrong here, but that's fine. Okay. Just do it that way. There we go. And then finally, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So this would be 8 over 5. This would be 8 over 5. Okay. So we practiced this and did this in class today. Your homework for tonight. So I'm going to go back to the Google Classroom. Is this Objective 1, 6.2, the first 6 questions. And you'll see there are 2 assignments. You need to open this up in order to fill out the Google form. And I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to go ahead and open it with Cami. Okay. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go to the Google Forms. All right. And here's why. Because the Google Forms, I couldn't import the question real well. So it just says question number 36, question number 14. And if you look at the Cami that's being pulled up, it's the first 6 questions. So it's 30, 14, 36, 3, 1, and 34. So if you pull it up, what we did was collaborated and got under this TEK, the 6.2 TEK, we went through old STAR questions to get us prepared for it and review, and pulled up all the questions that fell into 6.2. So our first question, which list shows the numbers in order from least value to greatest value? So we're going to be ordering these numbers. Well, I know that the larger the negative, the smaller it is. So which one would be smaller? -2/5 or -2 1/2, which would be -2 1/2. So I'm going to cross off F and cross off G. All right, so now I'm looking at H and J. So these 2 are the same. So these 2 are the same. These 2 are the same. And now this is what's different. All right here is what's different. So 5 and 21 over 4. So if I simplify this 21 over 4, I get 5 1/4. I know it's really hard to see, so give me one. Okay, what is that? 5 1/4. Make this a little bigger so you can see. Okay, so that 5 1/4 would be larger than that 5, so my answer would be H. The answer here would be H. So I'm going to come over here. So I was on question number 1. You have to put your name down. Would be letter H. And you're going to go to the next one, question number 14. Put them in order from greatest to least. You're going to find your answer. You're going to come over to the Forms tab and type which answer it is. When you finally get done and you click Submit, I want you to view your results. I have some little videos on there for you to see so you can see what you got right and everything. All right, so that does it for me today. Tomorrow, we're going to be working with rational numbers as well. We're going to be ordering them, and we're also going to have another assignment, another Google form for the last 6 of the questions here on your objective worksheet. So that does it for me today. Hopefully, y'all are having a wonderful day, making good choices, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.